Slaves here with the Senior Pickleball Report, presented by TNC Network. Let's get it going. Being in the zone or the flow, optimizing our performance. That's what we're going to talk about today, how to get there and stay in that flow or zone during a pickleball match. All right, before we get started, if you like this content, consider subscribing to the channel, hit that notification bell. Also, check out our socials. If you're looking to introduce somebody to the sports, check out A11N Sports for bottom-of-the-line great prices. If you're looking to upgrade your paddle, justpaddles.com. They have a great way of kind of walking you through a process to find the right paddle for you. And, of course, check out our shirts to support the channel as well. All these links are in the description. All right, let's get to the content. Sports psychology is really what makes the difference between a talented player and a professional. In other words, what happens between the ears. And we've talked a lot about this over the last few weeks on this channel. Being mindful while we're playing, having a pre-shot routine, being aware of the story we're telling ourselves about ourselves as a player, and so on and so forth. So this is another step of really trying to get to a place where we are in the zone and feeling the flow. In other words, we're not really thinking, but our body's just kind of moving and reacting, and our skill set is taking over. We're not over-analyzing and overthinking the game, and we're moving effortlessly through our skill set and against opponents. What I came across was a sports psychology YouTube channel called Blueprint Mastery, or Mastery Blueprint actually, and it's about sports psychology. And I'll have a link in the description which kind of explains all this in greater detail. But really they talk about two psychological triggers that need to take place in order to get us into this state of being in the zone or the flow. And one of them is really kind of about finding a balance between the skill set we have and, making it useful and being challenged at the same time. In other words, we're not playing against people who are at lower levels. We're not sandbagging in tournaments. We're really challenging ourselves and kind of, going outside your comfort zone, or just even one step beyond that. So that's really the first trigger, is really finding a good ratio for your skill set and yet challenging yourself. The second trigger is really full concentration. And really the best way to get to something like that is to practice some form of meditation, because it allows you to really focus and pay attention to the things that normally are running through your head, like the narrative that we talked about in an early video. So if you can get to those two places where you find a good ratio between your skill set and you're challenging yourself, and you can get your focus to a level to implement those things, well, then you've triggered those things. What we're going to talk about next briefly is what has to happen first in order for those two things to trigger. So we'll talk about that next. Hey, if you're looking to support the channel, get our SPR, Sleeves Senior Pickleball shirts. People can scan the QR code and go right to our YouTube channel and subscribe. They come in the casual, just wearing, or the ones you can play in. Hey, support the channel. Go to the link in the description. Hey, let's pickle. Okay, what are the preconditions for these psychological triggers? In other words, what things have to happen prior to us having a good balance of skill versus being challenged ratio, and having focus? Well, some things have to occur prior to that, and one of them is a commitment to risk. That means you have to play against people who are better than you and be okay with losing. So that's not easy to do, and that's why sometimes you see people sandbag, because they don't like to put in the time and the effort and the work. They'd rather feel good in the short term and win those matches. Second thing is a commitment to the skills that are needed, and that's really about putting in the time and effort doing drills instead of just playing matches all the time. I know drilling is not always the funnest thing for people to do, but if you look at top players, generally their ratio of practicing skills versus playing games is quite different than us rec players. The next one is having a growth mindset. That means you believe that you can improve, and putting in the work to improve. And then finally, the last thing is having trust in all the work and behaviors that you've developed in order to feel comfortable in challenging situations. So those are the things that have to happen first in order for you to get to a place where you can put in a good ratio of being challenged with the skill set that you have and being able to focus. These are the steps of getting in the flow. So check out the video link that I've attached. There's a ton of videos on this channel as well about sports psychology, and really, start to look at things beyond the physical aspect of the game, because the difference between people when they get to certain levels is really the mental side of it. All right, have some fun and let's pickle.